Hello， 大家好，我是阿婉。12月9号啦，中国贸易顺差首次突破1万亿美元。那今年1月，中国宣布其货物和服务贸易顺差接近1万亿美元。这一消息引发了全球关注，从未有国家的出口与进口达到如此规模。现在今年刚刚过去了11个月，中国就突破了这一里程碑。中国海关总署周一宣布，截止11月底，中国累计贸易顺差达到 1.08 万亿美元。那特朗普总统对中国施加的关税导致中国对美出口下降接近1/5，但中国也几乎以同等幅度大量减少了对美国大豆和其他产品的采购，对美出口量仍然是进口量的3倍。中国11月贸易顺差达到1116.8亿美元，创历史单月第3高。今年前11个月的总体顺差较去年同期增长 21.7%。中国对其他国家的出口显著增加，从汽车到太阳能板，再到电子消费产品。中国出口的巨浪正席卷东南亚、非洲、欧洲和拉丁美洲。德国、日本和韩国等传统制造业大国的汽车制造商和其他出口商正在被中国竞争对手抢走市场。印尼和南非等发展中国家的工厂因为难以与中国的低价竞争，不得不削减产量甚至关闭。中国企业已将产品的最终组装环节转移到东南亚、墨西哥和非洲，再由这些地区向美国运输成品。这让他们得以部分绕过特朗普对直接从中国进口商品加征的关税。中国现在对欧盟的出口额已超过进口额的2倍。中国对该地区的贸易顺差今年大幅扩大，一个主要的原因是过去几年中国的货币对其他货币，尤其是欧元汇率一直走弱。另一个原因是中国物价持续下跌，而美国和欧洲的物价却在上涨。人民币的疲软推动了出口的增长。目前中国制造业贸易顺差已占经济总量逾1/10。欧洲对比感受尤为明显，人民币相对于欧元贬值了30%，甚至可能更多。即使欧洲在放松监管、降低能源价格、建立真正统一市场等方面做了所有正确的事情，要与中国制造商竞争也将极其困难，甚至是不可能的。中国欧盟商会主席严池表示，中国在制造贸易业顺差占经济总量的比例，甚至超过了美国在二战刚结束后的几年，当时大多数其他制造百废待兴，或一战早期，当时美国远离战火，大量生产民用商品，而欧洲陷于战争的水平。国际货币基金组织的高层领导人本周正在对中国进行年度访问，审查其货币和金融政策，并预计将在周三发布一份初步总结。该组织以预防危机为目标，对各经济体实施监测，包括中国央行前高级官员在内的越来越多经济学家和商业领袖正呼吁北京允许人民币对美元和其他货币升值。 对中国来说，更强的人民币会让汽油、法国红酒和日本化妆品等商品的进口变得更便宜。节省下来的开支将使中国家庭有更多资金用于购买中国本土商品和服务，例如外出就餐、音乐会门票和电动汽车。提振国内消费是中国领导层的首要目标之一，但通过让人民币升值来实现这一点，也会给中国带来代价。人民币升值将损害中国的出口企业，他们在海外市场销售商品赚取的美元兑换成人民币后将缩水，从而影响支付工人工资及其他开支的能力。制造业在中国创造了数以百万计的就业岗位，人民币升值可能会减缓其他国家将制造业转移到中国的速度。中国在出口上取得的成功，也为其科技创新热潮提供了资金，并让北京有能力在其他威权国家遇到困难的时候给予援助，尤其是俄罗斯、朝鲜和伊朗。中国正试图通过督促其他国家不要设置贸易壁垒来维持其贸易顺差。根据中方发布的会晤摘要，中国最高领导人习近平在上周四与法国总统马克龙会面时表示，保护主义不能解决世界产业结构问题的调整，反而将恶化国际贸易环境。不过，一些中国经济学家表示，中国终有一天必须接受缩减贸易顺差，以帮助其长期承受压力的消费者。若要进一步扩大内需，就必须将贸易顺差最小化，甚至未来可能要维持贸易逆差。复旦大学经济学院院长张军在上个月的一次采访演讲中表示， China's trade surplus climbs past $1 trillion for the first time. What do you think about this? Do you have any comments? You can make a comments if you want. China got the world's attention last January when it announced that its trade surplus for goods and services have hit almost $1 trillion and access all exports to imports that no country had ever reached. Now, China has surged through the milestone in just 11 months this year. China's customs agents announced on Monday that the country's accumulated trade surplus reached $1.08 trillion through November. Tariff imposed by President Trump on China have caused Chinese exports to the United States to drop by nearly a fifth, but China has throttled back its purchase of American soya beans and other products by almost the same rate, continuing to sell 3 times as much as to the United States as it buys. China's $111.68 billion trade surplus in November was its third largest ever in a single month. The overall surplus through the first 11 months of the year is up 21.7% from the same period last year. China has ramped up considerably its sales to other countries, from cars to solar panels to consumer electronics. Tsunami of Chinese exports is flooding Southeast Asian, American, Europe, and Latin American car makers and other experts in traditional manufacturing powerhouses like Germany, Japan, and South Korea are losing customers to Chinese buyers. Factories in developing countries like Indonesia and South Africa have had to curtail production of even clothes as they struggle to match China's low price. Chinese companies have shifted final assembly of their goods to Southeast Asia, Mexico, and Africa, which they ship finished products to the United States. This has allowed them to partly bypass Mr. Trump's tariff on goods coming straight from China. China now sells more than twice as much to European Union as it buys. China's trade surplus with the region has widened considerably this year. One major reason is that China's currency has been weak over the last several years against many other currencies, particularly the euro. Another is the price have been falling in China while they have been rising in the United States and Europe. The weakness of the Chinese currency, the renminbi, has held proper its experts. More than a tenth of the Chinese economy now consists of its trade surplus in manufactured goods. Europe has failed the sitting sharply. With the renminbi undervalued by 30% against the euro, possible more, it will be exceedingly difficult, if not impossible, to compete against Chinese manufacturers, even if Europe does all the right things it needs to do in terms of deregulation, bringing down energy price and establishing a true unified market, said James Askeland, the president of the European Union Chamber of Commerce in China. China's trade surplus in factory goods is even bigger as a share of its economy than the United States ran in the years immediately after World War II, when most other manufacturing nations were in ruins, or during the earlier years of World War I, when the United States was at peace and churning out civilian goods while Europe was embroiled in war. Top leaders of the International Monetary Fund, which monitors economies with the aim of preventing crises, are making their annual visit to China this week to review its currency and financial policies, and are expected to announce a preliminary summary of their findings on Wednesday. A growing number of economists and business leaders, including former senior officials at China's own central bank, are calling on Beijing to let the renminbi increase in value against the dollars and other currencies. For China, a stronger renminbi would make goods like gasoline, French wines, or Japanese cosmetics cheaper to import. Savings on such purchase would leave China's households with more money to spend on Chinese goods and services like restaurant meals, concert tickets, and electric cars. Reviving consumer spending in China is one of top goals of Beijing leaders, but doing so by allowing the renminbi to strengthen would also carry costs for China. a stronger renminbi would hurt China's exporters. The dollars they earned by selling goods in foreign markets will yield few renminbi for them to pay worker and other expenses. Factories create millions of jobs in China, and a stronger renminbi could slow the rate at which other countries transform manufacturing in China. China's export success has also financed a boom in technological innovation and has given Beijing the resource to help other authoritarian countries which they encounter difficulties, notably Russia, North Korea, and Iran. China is trying to preserve trade surplus by pressing other countries not to reiterate trade barriers. Protectionism cannot solve the problems caused by global industrial restructuring, but will warrant the international environment for trade, Xi Jinping, China's top leader, said on Tuesday, according to a Chinese government summary of his meeting with President Emmanuel Macron of France. Some Chinese economists nationalists say that China must someday accept a narrower trade surplus to help its long-suffering consumers. For China to expand domestic demand, it is necessary to minimize the trade surplus, and in the future, it may even need to consider maintaining a trade deficit. Zhang Jun, dean of the School of Economy at Fudan University in Shanghai, said in a speech last month. 好了，那你怎么看呢？就是那人民币对外汇，它究竟会不会升值？还是因为当前还是政府在控制这个汇率？那如果人民币升值之后，那中国又将是怎么样呢？就是需求，就是虽然说中国人的就是大家手中的钱可以买到更多的外国商品，所以说这一方面也冲突着本土的经济。那另外一个就是中国就是在卖到国外的这些出口商的商品，它赚回来的钱就会变得少了，那出口量就会暴减了。所以，人民币升值究竟是好或者坏，可能对每一个个体的影响都是有所不同的。有的人是好，有的人是不好。那你又是哪一种情况，或者你又是怎么看这件事呢？评论区高手很多，我还是信你们的。那谢谢大家的倾听，祝大家生活愉快，然后别忘了点个关注。